6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Medavala, read by Soundhi Thavam. Early landslide warnings issued for multiple areas in 10 districts have been extended as heavy rainfall continues across parts of the island. The President's expenditure head under the Budget 2024 was passed in Parliament yesterday by a majority of 59 votes with amendments. The token strike initiated by the All-Island Expressway Workers Union has ended. The instalment of September for the Aswasuma will be paid from today. The 25th Presidential Export Awards will be held today. In foreign news, South Korea partially suspends military deal after launch after North Korea's spy satellite. In sports, Novak Djokovic wants Davis Cup finals to move around the world. Early landslide warnings issued by the National Building and Research Organization for multiple areas in 10 districts has been extended as heavy rainfall continues across parts of the island. The NBRO has issued Level 3 warnings for the following areas in the Badulla and Ratnapura districts. Early landslide warnings issued to Passara DSD and surrounding areas in the Badulla district. Several areas in the Ratnapura district have also been issued with Level 3 early landslide warnings. Accordingly, a Level 2 amber warning issued for several areas was extended to Haliella and the Haputale Divisional Secretariat divisions and the surrounding areas in the Badulla district. Several areas in the Kandy district has also been issued with Level 2 early landslide warnings. In addition, early landslide warnings issued to several areas in the Kagala, Matara and Ratnapura districts. The Sri Lanka Railways Department reported that all trains plying towards Badulla will only run up to Nanuoya from today. Accordingly, all train journeys to Badulla will be cut short at Nanuoya station until further notice, due to the frequent earth slips and rockfalls along the upcountry line. Over the past week, train operations on the upcountry line were disrupted on multiple occasions after mounds of earth collapsed onto the railway tracks. The President's expenditure head under the Budget 2024 was passed in Parliament yesterday by a majority of 59 votes with amendments. Following the debate of the committee stage held yesterday, Jatika Jana Balavegaya leader MP Anurakumara Disanayake called for a division for the President's budget head. The vote was held at around 6:10 p.m., where 62 votes were cast in favour and 3 votes were cast against it. The committee stage debate commenced yesterday for 19 days till December 13th, excluding Sundays. The vote on the third reading of the budget for 2024 is scheduled to be held on Wednesday, December 13th at 6 p.m. The token strike initiated by the All-Island Expressway Workers Union has ended. They have initiated a token strike last morning. The tri-forces and police personnel were dispatched to the expressways in a bid to ensure that operations continued uninterrupted. The trade union's president, Johan Hasita Munasinghe, said that more than 11,000 employees attached to the RDA had joined the token strike by calling in sick. The token strike, which was launched based on 3 demands, is effective from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. yesterday. Expressway workers protested against the alleged attempts by the Finance Ministry and the Road Development Authority to privatize the country's expressway network, the delayed payments for unused sick leave for the year 2022, and the delayed approval for the system for optimized recruitment, which deferred the grade-to-grade promotions of all employees. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The 25th Presidential Export Awards ceremony will be held today at the BMICH under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Sri Lanka Export Development Board is organizing the event. The Presidential Export Award stands as the pinnacle of recognition bestowed by the President on exporters who have exceptional contributions to the country's export sector and economic advancement. This esteemed accolade seeks to honor and acknowledge exporters who have demonstrated the outstanding achievements in exports, fostering the growth in economic development. Transport, Highways and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena yesterday said that a request has been made to digitalize all operations at the exit and entry points of expressways to ensure an efficient service free from corruption. He said the digitalization program will also comprise many features including an ultra-modern security camera system. The minister made these comments after inspecting the operations at the entry and exit points of the Aturugiriya and Kottahava interchanges, after several RDA trade unions launched a trade union action. The cashiers at the expressway entry and exit points have also joined the trade union action by reporting on sick leave. Finance State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said that the September instalments of the Asfasuma will be paid from today. Semasinghe mentioned that 8,571 million rupees is to be paid for more than 1.3 million beneficiary families has been released to the banks. He said that the October, November and December instalments will be paid to the beneficiaries before the end of the year, and he pointed out that applications will be called to select beneficiaries in December. Semasinghe said that as per the instructions of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, the assurance review activities will be carried out every 6 months. In addition, he further said that the arrears of the elderly, kidney and disabled allowances have been paid by now. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced in Parliament yesterday that both the presidential and parliamentary elections will be held next year. The President said this while replying to a statement made by the Chief Opposition Whip, Lakshman Kiriyalla, that the government is afraid of holding elections. The President also said that there is no reason to be afraid of holding an election since democracy has been established in the country. The President said that not a single election will be postponed and the presidential and parliamentary elections will be held next year. The President further said that the local government and provincial council elections could be conducted, adding that there were no issues in carrying it out. President Wickremesinghe said this while participating in the committee stage debate in Parliament yesterday. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala.
On to Watchlight, the National Dengue Control Unit said that the number of dengue patients across the country has increased nearly 73,000, the highest number of patients reported after the Western Province, and the number is nearly 35,000. That is 47.5% of the total number of dengue-infected patients. 45 dengue high-risk zones have been identified in the island so far. In order to reduce the spread of dengue, the public has been requested to take measures to keep the environment clean during this rainy season. That was in Watchlight, and on to a bulletin of world news. Making headlines this morning, South Korea partially suspends military deal after launch after North Korea's spy satellite. The US thwarts plot to kill Sikh separatists on American soil, and the remaining 4 BTS band members enlist in military. South Korea has suspended parts of its 2018 agreement with the North aimed at lowering military tensions. This comes after Pyongyang claimed to have successfully launched a spy satellite into space. Prime Minister Han Duck-soo said the launch threatened South Korea's security, and Seoul said it would resume surveillance flights along its border with North Korea, breaching a no-fly zone established under the military pact. Some analysts have said these developments could escalate tensions further. Pyongyang fired a rocket said to contain its Malekyong-1 spy satellite late on Tuesday and hailed the launch as a success. On Wednesday, South Korea's military confirmed that the satellite had entered orbit, but noted that it was too soon to tell if it was actually functioning, though both it and the US strongly condemned the launch. The US has raised an alleged plot to kill and Sikh separatists on American soil at the senior-most levels with India, the White House says. According to the Financial Times, the target was Gurpawant Singh Poonam, a US-Canada dual national. Mr. Poonam is a vocal advocate for an independent Sikh homeland and has been designated a terrorist by India. The report comes weeks after Canada said India may have been behind the murder of another Sikh separatist. The Financial Times reported on Wednesday, citing unnamed sources, that US authorities thwarted a conspiracy to kill Mr. Poonam and have issued a warning to India over concerns it was involved in the plot. The White House said Indian officials expressed surprise and concern when approached by the US about the allegations. The 4 BTS band members who have yet to start mandatory military service have begun the process of enlisting. The K-pop star's label asked fans to continue giving support to RM, Jimin, V and Jungkook until they return safely from the conscription. In South Korea, nearly all able-bodied men are obliged to enlist, like the 3 older band members currently serving. The group are due to reform in 2025. It comes after old band member Jin enlisted last year, followed by his bandmate J-Hope in April. BTS went on a hiatus in June to allow members to complete military service after earning 6 #1 singles in the US. Previously, there had been years-long debate on whether BTS deserved an exemption on the basis they generated billions of dollars for the country and boosted the image of South Korea. With that, we conclude this bulletin of world news.
Development news.
The Ambassador of the United States to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, acknowledged the resilience of the Sri Lankan people, the abatement of inflation, and the gradual reduction of shortages. She made this comment at the 7th Annual General Meeting of the Sri Lanka-USA Business Council of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. The Ambassador of the United States to Sri Lanka recognized the challenging journey that Sri Lanka has traversed since the previous Annual General Meeting in August of the previous year. She emphasized the importance of Sri Lanka's commitment to long-term regulatory and economic reform, inclusive of equitable debt restructuring, fiscal transparency enhancement, the creation of an attractive regulatory environment, and the fortification of democratic governance. That's development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Novak Djokovic says the Davis Cup knockout phase has to travel around the world as he prepares for Serbia's quarter-final against Britain in Spain. Since the revamp of the men's team event in 2019, the final stages of the tournament have always been played in Spanish cities. On Thursday, Serbia play Britain in Malaga, where the semi-finals and final will be held at the weekend. Lionel Messi believes there could have been a tragedy during the crowd trouble that delayed Argentina's World Cup qualifier against Brazil. The police charged at away fans following scuffles before kick-off in a section of the Maracana Stadium that Messi says contained players' friends and family. Argentina captain Messi and his players went over to try and calm the situation before returning to the dressing room. The trouble began when rival fans clashed in a stand behind one of the goals at the stadium in Rio de Janeiro during the national anthems, prompting police to charge at Argentina's supporters, some using batons. Some supporters ripped out seats and threw them at the police in response, while others spilled out onto the pitch to escape the trouble. That's sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekakiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe kalanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
OpenAI co-founder Sam Altman will return as boss just days after he was fired by the board, the firm has said. The agreement, in principle, involves new board members being appointed, the tech company added. Mr. Altman's sacking on Friday astonished industry watchers and led to staff threatening mass resignations unless he was reinstated. That's business news, economic news to follow.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe kalanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news, the international media reported yesterday that Sri Lanka has received commendation from the International Monetary Fund for its handling of the debt negotiations with China's Export-Import Bank, a move that is pivotal for the country's debt restructuring efforts and economic recovery. Peter Brewer, a senior representative from the IMF involved in the Sri Lanka process, has highlighted the importance of the agreement involving approximately $4.2 billion in debt. This accord is crucial for the continuation of Sri Lanka's fiscal reforms and for securing further support from international creditors. That's economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in most provinces of the island after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the central, Sabragama, Uva, southern and western provinces. Showers may also occur at some places in the western province and in the Puttalam district during the morning too. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. Early landslide warnings issued for multiple areas in 10 districts have been extended as heavy rainfall continues across parts of the island. The President's expenditure head under the Budget 2024 was passed in Parliament yesterday by a majority of 59 votes with amendments. The token strike initiated by the All-Island Expressway Workers' Union has ended. The September installments of the Aswasuma will be paid from today. The 25th Presidential Export Awards will be held today. South Korea partially suspends military deal after launch after North Korea's spy satellite. Novak Djokovic wants Davis Cup finals to move around the world. That concludes this morning's news broadcast, and now it's back to your hostess, Geetanjali, across the glass page to keep you well entertained this beautiful Thursday morning. Good morning, Geetanjali, and it's all yours.